Everyone. So, welcome back. This is the eighth chapter, that is Environment and Natural Resources. In the new syllabus, this has become chapter 7, but nothing else has changed in the chapter. So, no new topics are added here. The chapter more or less remains the same. So, let's begin the chapter. First of all, we have to know what are the environmental concerns in global politics. See, environment is a topic which is there in almost all the subjects. So here we are going to talk about the environment from the point of view of politics, that what politics have happened over this issue and how it is affecting relations amongst nation, how this issue of environment affects the global politics at large. So, in the global politics, there are many environmental concerns, and this is the first topic of your chapter. And in the board exams, it has been asked for 6 marks. Okay, so it's a 6 marker for board exams. So basically these will be your headings that you can see on your screen, and the detail, the explanation of this you have to give. It's a very easy question. So the first concern of global politics is the shrinking of the cultivable areas and grasslands. It means that those land on which you can do agriculture, so that land is shrinking day by day, and this is a very big concern. Why? Because the population of the world is increasing. So if the population is increasing and the cultivable area is decreasing, then it will lead to shortages of food in future. So few statistics, few datas, 182 million hectares of land has been shrinked. The cultivable land has been lost over the last 5 years. So this is a big thing, and the result of it will be shortages in the production of food. The next concern in global politics, which is the prime concern right now, is no access to safe drinking water. Safe drinking water is getting depleted from the earth. You must have heard of the water table, the underground water table going down day by day. And one more thing that is attached to it, one concept you must have heard of, 0 day, that there will be a day on that on which date there will be no safe drinking water on earth. So various cities have already started their countdown to 0 day, where the water shortage is very acute. Okay, now the data that is provided by the World Health Organization and UNICEF here say that almost 3 out of 10 people in the world do not have access to safe drinking water, and 6 out of 10 persons do not have access to hygienic sanitation facilities. So these data are very alarming, and because safe drinking water is something which is essential for human survival. Then next thing is the depletion of the natural forest. The natural forest is depleting at a very large rate, and this depletion of the natural forest, it leads to the loss of biodiversity. So you must have heard of that many species of plants, animals, birds have already become extinct. Now if we go to see the data, around 18 million acres of forest cover is destroyed annually. That is a big thing. 18 million acres of forest cover is destroyed annually per year. So it means that already we have we have depleted almost half of the natural forest cover of earth. And it's not only leading to the extinction of various species and loss of biodiversity, it's also increasing global warming, because you know that the forest do the cooling effect, and that when you cut down the forest, that is lost. So a lot of harmful effects of these, you all know it already, and that's why I say that this question, if you get it in the examination, it becomes a very easy question to answer. Then the next thing is decline in the total amount of ozone, and because of this the global warming is rising. So when the amount of the greenhouse gases increases, that creates loss of the ozone layer. Now recently what the news is coming, that the ozone hole has been filled. So that is a good news that is coming, and something coming very late in the area of environmental restoration. So, and the last is the coastal pollution that is mentioned here. Now, the coastal pollution refers to the pollution of the marine water, sea water. Now, this coastal pollution, the major causes of this coastal pollution has been human activities, untreated waste going into the sea, and a lot of activities that is increasing in the coastal areas. The drilling of the oil is also one of the major causes of coastal pollution. And what is happening because of this is that the oxygen level of the sea is going down, and that's why you must have seen in the news that many fishes coming to the shore, died fishes. तो मछलियाँ मर जा रही हैं, मरीन लाइफ मर के वो शोर्स पे आ जा रही है. तो इट इज़ लीडिंग टू the loss of a lot of marine life and marine atmosphere. So these are the main sources, these are the main environmental concerns in global politics at present. Now, in global politics, the talks of the environmental issues. So let's see the history of the environmental concerns in global politics. First, the talk of these things started in 1972 when the Club of Rome, it is a global think tank means an organization that thinks presents its views on the global issues. They published a book which was called Limits to Growth. Then the talks on the environmental issues, global environmental issues begin. And then the United Nations Environmental Program started talking and started organizing the environmental conferences. Then a report came in 1987 which is called the Brundtland report. It said that the traditional pattern of growth, see why if you have to go into the cause of the environmental pollution, then biggest cause of environmental pollution is the race of development, the race of industrial growth amongst different nations in the world. So that is causing a lot of environmental pollution. So it said that this type of economic growth is not sustainable. It cannot be sustained for long because it will lead to the depletion of the resources and to the pollution of the environment at a very large scale. So then the thinking is started on global efforts to resolve this environmental issue. Okay, and then came the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, which was held in Rio de Janeiro in 1992. So, Rio de Janeiro is in Brazil. So, this conference of which was called the Earth Summit. See, when we talk of Earth Summit, many a times it is believed that this was the first Earth Summit. No. This was not the first Earth Summit. The first Earth Summit was organized in 1972 in Sweden, in the city of Stockholm. So the Earth Summits are organized after every 10 years. So 1972 was the first Earth Summit in Stockholm, Sweden. Then in 1982, it was organized in Kenya, Nairobi. The city was Nairobi, so it was organized in Kenya. And in 1992, you have this summit was the third Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. Okay, so why we talk only about this conference and not the previous two? Because the major principles on which the environmental management is being done at present were devised in this conference. Okay, so it was a breakthrough in the field of environmental management. So after 1992, in 2002, the Earth Summit was held in Johannesburg, South Africa, and in the last Earth Summit was held again in Rio de Janeiro in 2012. Okay, so there had been 5 summits till now. Now let's see, we have to concentrate ourselves to this Earth Summit from the point of view of your syllabus for class 12th board exams. So we have to study what happened in the Earth Summit of 1992, the Rio Summit, which is called, it is also known as the Earth Summit. Okay, and it was actually the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development. Okay, it was a UN conference on environment and development. So let's see. So Earth Summit of 1992 held in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It was attended by 170 states, many NGOs and many MNCs also, multinational corporations. Okay. So in the Earth Summit, when the dialogues is started, it clearly manifested the North-South divide. Okay, North-South divide is something that I have explained in the previous videos of the previous chapter also. So to just tell you in short here, North-South divide here means the divide between the developed countries and the developing countries. Okay, so this conflict, developed versus developing, that was very clear in the Earth Summit because the approach of both these countries, the countries of the North and the countries of South, over the environmental management differed a lot. So there was a clear divide that countries of North wanted something else and countries of South wanted something else. Okay, but the success of this summit was that they were able to devise a compromise formula for future environmental management. ठीक है, तो global north refers to the rich and developed countries of the first world and the term global south is generally used for the developing countries of the third world. So what were the outcomes of the Earth Summit? जो discussion हुए उसका outcome क्या था? पहली चीज तो बहुत सारी कन्वेंशंस प्रोड्यूस की इस अर्थ समिट ने, बहुत सारी कन्वेंशंस पे अग्रीमेंट हुआ जो डील कर रही थी क्लाइमेट चेंज से, बायोडाइवर्सिटी, फॉरेस्ट्री और अदर एनवायरमेंटल कंसर्न्स. फाइन. दूसरी, दे डिवाइज्ड अ लिस्ट ऑफ डेवलपमेंटल प्रैक्टिसेस व्हिच वाज कॉल्ड एजेंडा 21. ये एजेंडा 21 जो है वो कई बार 1 मार्क और 2 मार्क्स के लिए पूछा जा चुका है. ओके, तो ये एजेंडा 21 क्या था? इट्स अ लिस्ट ऑफ डेवलपमेंट प्रैक्टिसेस दैट द नेशंस शुड फॉलो. ओके, तो जब नेशंस इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ करते हैं तो वो इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ में जो प्रैक्टिसेस होनी चाहिए वो किस तरीके की होनी चाहिए, ये कुछ प्रैक्टिसेस एजेंडा 21 मेंशन करता है. बट व्हाट द क्रिटिक्स हैव सेड दैट द एजेंडा 21 इज बायस्ड इन फेवर ऑफ इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ देन इकोलॉजिकल बैलेंस. मतलब क्रिटिक्स का ये कहना है कि ये एजेंडा 21 इकोलॉजिकल बैलेंस की तरफ नेग्लेक्टेड है, मतलब वो उसकी तरफ उतना ध्यान नहीं देता है और ये बायस्ड है इन फेवर ऑफ इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ. तो एक्चुअली इन्होंने सैंक्शंस दे दी कि हाँ ठीक है, जो इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ जिस तरह से कर रहे हैं उसमें उतना ज़्यादा कंट्रोल ये उसको नहीं कर पाएगा, उनका ये मानना है. और दूसरा जो सबसे बड़ा अचीवमेंट था इस अर्थ समिट का वो था कि इट डिवाइज्ड अ कंसेंसस ऑन व्हाट इज कॉल्ड सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट, that the approach to development will be sustainable, should be sustainable development. अब ये sustainable development कई बार बोर्ड एग्जाम में इसके पूछा जा चुका है. what do you mean by sustainable development? It's a very common question for board exams, that what do you mean by sustainable development? So this is a definition. Sustainable development is combining economic growth with ecological responsibility. ये है. बस अगर आप इतना भी लिख दीजिए ना, ये 4-5 वर्ड्स, कंबाइनिंग इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ विथ इकोलॉजिकल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, कि आपको ग्रोथ उस तरह से करनी है जिससे कि आप इन्वायरमेंट को कम से कम नुकसान पहुंचाएं और जो रिसोर्सेज हैं वो डिप्लीट ना हो, वो फ्यूचर जनरेशन्स के लिए अवेलेबल रहें. तो सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट का कॉन्सेप्ट यही कहता है कि रिसोर्सेज को आप उस तरह से यूज़ करिए जिससे कि वो ख़त्म ना हो जाएं, वो फ्यूचर के लिए अवेलेबल रहें. जैसे एक बहुत कॉमन सेइंग जाती है वो ये कि यू शुड नो दैट यू आर नॉट spending at the present, you have borrowed the resources from the future generations. तो ये जो रिसोर्सेज हैं इस अर्थ पे, ये केवल आपके लिए नहीं है, ये आने वाली सारी जनरेशन्स के लिए हैं। तो आप सिर्फ उसको उतना ही यूज़ करिए जो आपके लिए है, आप उनसे उनका लेकर उसको डिप्लीट मत करिए, एक्सप्लॉइट मत करिए। तो ये सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट का कॉन्सेप्ट यही है कि डेवलपमेंट इस तरह से होना चाहिए कि आगे के डेवलपमेंट के लिए भी सारे रिसोर्सेज आपको अवेलेबल होते रहें। ओके, तो मतलब इसका ये है। तो आपको बस ये 4-5 वर्ड्स जो हैं, कीवर्ड्स वो आंसर में लिखने हैं। कंबाइनिंग इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ विद इकोलॉजिकल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, दैट इज व्हाट इज मेंट बाय सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट। और अर्थ समिट में एक जो बहुत बड़ा अचीवमेंट हुआ था वो मैंने यहाँ मेंशन नहीं किया, बिकॉज ये फुल फ्लेजेड टॉपिक है जो आई विल टेक इट अप इन द नेक्स्ट वीडियो। That was the principle of common but differentiated responsibility। ये CBDR का प्रिंसिपल यहाँ पे एक डिवाइस हुआ था, that will be the base of all future economic management and development। ठीक है, तो ये कॉमन बट डिफरेंशिएटेड रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी का एक फुल फ्लेजेड 6 मार्क आता है अलग से, इसलिए आई विल बी डिस्कसिंग दिस इन डिटेल in my next video. So in this video till here only. In the next video I will be talking about global commons and this CBDR, so don't miss that video. Okay, CBDR is something that is very important from the point of view of your board exams. Okay, so till here only in this video. Thank you for watching and take care of your health. Bye bye.